Hello everyone, myself Garima. This session is for GNM second year and today we will discuss about hydrocephalus. The term hydrocephalus is derived from the Greek word hydro, which means water, and cephalus, which means head. As the name implies, it is a condition in which the primary characteristic is excessive accumulation of fluid in the brain. Although hydrocephalus was once known as water in the brain, the water is actually cerebrospinal fluid. What is cerebrospinal fluid? Cerebrospinal fluid is a clear fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord. The excessive accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid results in an abnormal widening of spaces in brain which is called as ventricles. This widening creates potentially harmful pressure on the tissues of the brain. Introduction. Hydrocephalus is the abnormal accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid in the intracranial spaces. It occurs due to imbalance between production or absorption of CSF or due to obstruction of the CSF pathways. It results in the dilatation of the cerebral ventricles and enlargement of head. हाइड्रोसेफेलस एक ऐसी कंडीशन है जिसमें सेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड एबनॉर्मली एक्यूमुलेट होता है इंट्राक्रेनियल स्पेसेस में. अब सेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड एबनॉर्मली क्यों एक्यूमुलेट होता है इंट्राक्रेनियल स्पेसेस में? जब इम्बैलेंस होता है बिटवीन प्रोडक्शन, एब्जॉर्प्शन या फिर ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द सेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड पाथवेज, जिसकी वजह से क्या होता है, सेरिब्रल वेंट्रिकल्स डायलेट हो जाती हैं एंड हेड एनलार्ज हो जाता है. दिस इमेज इज शोइंग एनलार्ज हेड ऑफ द बेबी हु इज़ हैविंग हाइड्रोसेफेलस, and this image is showing the healthy ventricles and enlarged ventricles. Definition. Hydrocephalus is defined as an abnormal increase in the amount of cerebrospinal fluid within the cranial cavity that is accompanied by expansion of the cerebral ventricles and enlargement of the skull. Incidence rate. Hydrocephalus occurs in approximately 3 to 4 per 1,000 live births. Etiology. Hydrocephalus may occur due to congenital or acquired causes. Congenital hydrocephalus. It occurs due to the following conditions. First is intrauterine infections like rubella, toxoplasmosis and cytomegalovirus. Then second is congenital brain tumor which is obstructing the CSF flow. Then third is intracranial hemorrhage. Then last one is a congenital malformation like aqueduct stenosis. What is aqueduct stenosis? Aqueduct stenosis is narrowing of the aqueduct of Salves which blocks the flow of CSF in the ventricular system. Blockage of the aqueduct can lead to hydrocephalus. Then acquired hydrocephalus. It occurs usually following the conditions like inflammation, meningitis or encephalitis. What is meningitis? Meningitis is an inflammation of meninges. And what is encephalitis? Encephalitis is an inflammation of the brain. Then second is trauma. Trauma like birth injury, head injury, intracranial hemorrhage. Then third is neoplasm, space occupying lesions like subdural hematoma. Then chemical hypervitaminosis A. Then normal pathways of CSF. CSF is produced by choroid plexus and the lateral ventricles of brain. Through foramen of Monro, CSF goes to the third ventricle. Then through aqueduct of Salves, CSF goes to the fourth ventricle. Then through foramen of Lusca and Magendie, CSF goes to cisternae of subarachnoid space. Then from base of the brain, CSF is finally reabsorbed into venous sinuses by arachnoid villi. Then types. Hydrocephalus can be divided into two types. First is communicating hydrocephalus. In this type, there is no blockage between ventricular system and the spinal subarachnoid space. इस टाइप में होता क्या है, इस टाइप में ब्लॉकेज नहीं होता है किसी भी वेंट्रिकुलर सिस्टम में एंड स्पाइनल सबअरेकनॉइड स्पेस में. इसमें क्या क्या होता है कि CSF या तो एब्जॉर्ब नहीं हो पाता है या फिर एक्सेसिव प्रोडक्शन होता है CSF का, जिसकी वजह से कम्युनिकेटिंग हाइड्रोसेफेलस होता है. कम्युनिकेटिंग हाइड्रोसेफेलस को हम नॉन ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव हाइड्रोसेफेलस भी बोलते हैं. देन सेकेंड आता है नॉन कम्युनिकेटिंग हाइड्रोसेफेलस. In this type of hydrocephalus, there is obstruction at any level in the ventricular system. इस टाइप में होता क्या है, इस टाइप में CSF का ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन होता है वेंट्रिकुलर सिस्टम के किसी भी लेवल पर. लेकिन कॉमनली किस लेवल पर होता है ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन? एक्यूडक्ट या फिर फोरामेन लश्का या फिर मेगेंडी पर. अब ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन जो होता है या तो वो पार्शल होता है या इंटरमिटेंट होता है या फिर कंप्लीट होता है. और ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन किस वजह से होता है, या तो इन्फ्लामेशन से होता है या फिर डेवलपमेंटल ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव लीजन से होता है. और ये बहुत कॉमन टाइप है ये आपको मेजॉरिटी ऑफ केसेस में देखने को मिलेगा, ये वाला टाइप, एंड इट इज़ ऑल्सो नोन एज ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव हाइड्रोसेफेलस. Clinical manifestation: first one is excessive enlargement of head, second is delayed closure of anterior fontanelle, third is tense and bulging fontanelle with open suture, fourth is alteration of muscle tone, fifth is delayed in holding head of the infant, then last is presence of signs of increased intracranial pressure. The next is later with gradual increase in size of the head. Next is protruding forehead, shiny scalp with prominent scalp veins. Last is sunset sign of eyes. Then hydrocephalus occurring in late childhood may not present with large head. अगर हाइड्रोसेफेलस लेट चाइल्डहुड में होता है तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि बेबी में जो आप सिम्टम देखोगे वो उसका एनलार्ज हेड ही हो. उसमें और क्या क्या सिम्टम्स दिख सकते हैं वो है इंक्रीज इंट्राक्रेनियल प्रेशर विद पैपिलोडीमा. व्हाट इज़ पैपिलोडीमा? पैपिलोडीमा इज़ अ स्वेलिंग ऑफ द ऑप्टिक नर्व एट अ पॉइंट वेयर दिस नर्व जॉइंस द आई. Then spasticity. What is spasticity? A state of increased tone of muscle. Then ataxia. What is ataxia? Ataxia is also known as impaired coordination. Ataxia is a loss of coordination of voluntary muscle movements. Then urinary incontinence, and last is progressive deterioration of mental activities. Diagnostic evaluation: in this first is physical examination, next is neurological assessment, then MRI, CT scan, cranial ultrasonography, X-ray skull, CBC, and last is ophthalmoscopy. Management of hydrocephalus is directed towards a relief of hydrocephalus or reducing the intracranial pressure. Next is prevention and management of complications, and last is managing problems caused by pathology. हाइड्रोसेफेलस का जो ट्रीटमेंट होता है वो डिपेंड करता है कॉज पर. मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट इंक्लूड्स द ऑस्मोटिक डायूरेटिक्स सच एज एसिटाजोलामाइड 50 mg per kg per day, एंड सेकेंड इज फ्रूसेमाइड. अब ये जो मेडिसिन होती हैं ये प्रोवाइड करती है टेम्पररी रिलीफ, बट जो मेन मैनेजमेंट है हाइड्रोसेफेलस का वो है सर्जरी में या तो हम शंट इंसर्ट करते हैं या फिर रिमूव करते हैं एनी स्पेस ऑक्यूपाइंग लीजन. जो शंट होता है वो किस चीज़ से बना हुआ होता है? रेडियो ओपेक प्लास्टिक से. 4 टाइप्स ऑफ शंट्स आर अवेलेबल. फर्स्ट इज़ वेंट्रिकुलोपेरिटोनियल शंट, ये मोस्ट कॉमनली यूज्ड शंट है. सेकंड आता है वेंट्रिकुलो एट्रियल शंट, ये है फ्रॉम वेंट्रिकल्स टू लेफ्ट एट्रियम. देन थर्ड है वेंट्रिकुलो प्लूरल शंट, ये है फ्रॉम वेंट्रिकल्स टू द प्लूरल कैविटी. देन लास्ट वन है वेंट्रिकुलो यूरेटरिक शंट, ये है फ्रॉम वेंट्रिकल्स टू द यूरेटर. This image is showing the before shunt, extra CSF in the ventricles. Then next is after shunt plus CSF in the ventricles. Then the complications that may arise with shunt include kinking मतलब होता है ट्यूब का मुड़ जाना. सेकेंड है सेपरेशन और प्लगिंग ऑफ शंट ट्यूबिंग. देन द मोस्ट सीरियस कॉम्प्लिकेशन आता है इन्फेक्शन that mostly occurs within 2 months of surgery. Infections of shunt may lead to ventriculitis. What is ventriculitis? Inflammation of the ventricles. And second is septicemia. And conservative treatment for shunt infection is administration of antibiotics. Nursing management. Pre-operative nursing care. Observe and report signs of increased intracranial pressure, that is vomiting, altered mental state, slow respiration, bradycardia, tachycardia, increased blood pressure and headache. Next is measure the head circumference of the child daily. Next, palpate the fontanelle for evidence of increased intracranial pressure, bulging and tense. Next is assess the pupillary response and level of consciousness. Then next is monitor vital signs regularly. Any changes in vital signs should be promptly reported. Next is as the infant is irritable and restless, provide calm and quiet environment so that the infant may take adequate rest. Next is prevent the child from nosocomial infections by using barrier nursing and strict aseptic techniques while providing care. Next is position the baby with neck adequately supported. Then next, provide small frequent feeds to the child in relaxed environment. Next, burp the baby after every feed to prevent aspiration. Next, change the position of the baby every 2 hourly to prevent pressure sores on the scalp. The next is keep the infant clean and dry. The next is support the infant's head and neck while handling because the head may be too large and neck muscles may be too weak to support the head. Next is provide the explanation and detailed information to the parents about the condition of the child, various procedures and therapies. Next is provide love and affection to the child, and last is involve the parents in the care of the child. Now, post-operative nursing care. Post-operative nursing care includes post-operatively place the infant in flat position to prevent rapid CSF drainage and on unoperated side to avoid pressure on the valve of shunt. If CSF is drained too rapidly, there is a risk of subdural hematoma caused by tearing of the vessels. Check vital signs every 15 to 30 minutes in immediate post-operative period. Next is assess the head circumference regularly. Next is assess the neurological status and level of consciousness frequently. Then monitor the intake and output as fluids may be restricted during first 24 hours post-operatively. Then oral rehydration must be started after the bowel sounds reappear. Then check the dressings for any drainage. Then meticulous skin care. Careful skin care should be provided. If the fontanelle becomes sunken, notify the physician immediately. Next is the child must be observed for signs of infection such as fever, increased heart and respiratory rate, poor feeding or vomiting, altered mental status, and local symptoms such as redness or CSF leakage at the surgical site. Then prophylactic antibiotics are administered as prescribed to prevent infections. Then teach parents about care of the child at home after discharge from hospital. Tell them about first is handling the baby while feeding and positioning the child. Second is recognizing the signs of increased intracranial pressure and malfunctioning or blockage of shunt. Third is preventing constipation if the child has ventriculoperitoneal shunt, as straining during defecation may increase the intracranial pressure. Last is importance of follow-up care. Thank you.